Zoom and boom, everyone. It is 5 o'clock on the East Coast. It is Tuesday, March 5th, 2019, and we are live. This is episode number 29 of According to Spiky Dash. Spiky Dash here with you. We'll get into the topics of this video. We have a lot to discuss and talk about relating to MLP, relating to sports, relating to other things, what's to come in the month of March. But I want to take a couple minutes and do something a little different and just talk about life, because also on this series I talk about what's also going on in my life. And I would be remiss if I did not mention something that happened, to me recently, a feeling that I had, and basically the response to that. For those that don't follow me on Facebook or Twitter or both, you may not be aware that this past month for me was a bit of a financial bind. That was not fully my fault. I mean, it was, but it wasn't. And February was a real struggle for me. It mainly was because of a circumstance where my work accidentally, not knowing at the time it was accidentally double paying me. I thought it was something different than that, like a bonus. And so therefore I did something nice for Nate and Sarah. I paid their badges for Winnie City, paid my house payment for the month, and thought I had more than what I had. The next day after I got paid, wanted to make a credit card payment. The quote unquote that I thought was a bonus was gone. And so I had to end up in a bit of a financial pickle. And so then there were those that were being very critical. There were some close to me in my life that were being very critical of, that decision that I, had made, and I had to take some money out of my savings account to stay afloat during the month. And there were those that weren't liking that, and there were those that were just like, what's going on? And I was feeling a lot of pressure from that. And it kind of all came to this, I guess, release on Sunday, a couple days ago, where these feelings in my mind of feeling, I don't know how to describe it, because it was a lengthy Facebook post, but it was basically like, like I'm doing the right thing, but it feels like it's wrong. Like, I don't know what the line is between right and wrong now. I know it's right in my heart, but it wasn't my fault, but people still take it that way. They don't understand the circumstance, et cetera, et cetera. So I just felt like I had to, speak out. On some things, I can't stay silent. I can't keep it in. I can't keep it to myself. I have to put it out there. Otherwise, it doesn't make me feel any better or put my mind at ease, But once I posted my thoughts to Facebook, immediately the outpouring of support and encouragement that I received was very comforting. I knew I already was on good terms with Nate and Sarah, because we had talked things out, and we had, all gotten on the same page regarding, PonyCon and make sure we were all on the same page with that. So I was already good with them. The biggest fear, though, for me was the people, close to me, also my mother, bless her heart. but I feared that she would not be as understanding of the reasons behind everything that was happening and what was going on. So it just felt like this big pressure on my shoulders. But then I received, plenty of comments from other family members. One of my cousins reached out to me, fellow friends from school, fellow coworkers at my job. Even today, I'm still having people talk to me about this, even after I am feeling better. And I will say I am feeling better. Sunday, I was in a pretty much close to depressive state. Like I was feeling very burdened by this. I was feeling, very rough. I didn't feel right at work. I got through the day, but it was just, I wasn't like in my usual, jovial mood. I wasn't, my upbeat self. It was very much a tough day. But once this outpouring of support happened, and once I heard the encouragement, brother, you're not from my church family as well, fellow brothers and sisters, you're not alone in this. We've been where you've been. We understand what you're going through. That helped me a lot. That really, helped to understand. People know where I'm coming from. And then eventually it got to a point where my mother did reach out to me via text message, and we had a conversation. And we, and thankfully she was very understanding of my, entire situation, and we got on the same page with, my savings account and everything like that, and we're good. So to everyone who did reach out these past couple days, to everyone who will reach out or has yet to reach out, if you want to reach out to me, please by all means do so. You can do it via Facebook, Twitter, what have you, face to face if you want. I can't say thank you enough. I really can't. It's comforting to know that I am blessed to just have a amazing support system of people, that are really concerned when I'm going through tough situations, and I know life happens, and that's the saying, life happens, stuff happens, the S word happens, I get that. But you guys know from, doing stuff on this channel and doing things in life, I'm a organizer, I'm a planner. I try to be prepared as much as I can for anything in life. But sometimes things happen that you don't expect. And that certainly was one of those instances, because I thought that I had more than what I had, that it turned out that I should have had. And thank God I had the presence of mind to A, not touch that extra money, and B, I had the presence of mind to check the account the day after it happened to see that it was gone, because I was going to make a credit card payment that same day. So that was a blessing in disguise. But again, to my family that reached out, to my friends that reached out, to my coworkers, to my brothers and sisters at Church of the Heartland, and to Nate and Sarah, and my mother, thank you. Words don't do it justice. The support and the encouragement that you've given me these past couple days have been very comforting. It puts things in perspective. It goes to show that life can happen sometimes. Life can come at you fast, as the commercial once said. I forget who that was for. But life can come in waves and hit you hard. But it's kind of how you respond to it that really, I guess, shapes your character. And I guess for me, if I can take anything away from this, it's just maybe not. maybe not like be more aware, but just like, I don't know, because how was I supposed to know that it was a accidental second payment? How was I supposed to know? Because the amounts were different. I thought it was a bonus. I honestly did, but no one said that to me, so I couldn't have known. And apparently, from what I've been told from coworkers, I'm not the only one that this happened to. So I am probably not the only one in a bit of a bind from this past month. But it's just been so comforting to know that I have this great support system of people, and even all all the fellow people in the fandom that I follow on Twitter that talk to me from time to time. I consider you part of that support system as well. And even though you might not have known what was going on with me, or didn't reach out, that's totally okay. We all have busy lives, and I still appreciate you being a part of that system. So I am beyond blessed to have that support system, and I'm just so grateful to have that. So I just wanted to start this off and say from the bottom of my heart to everyone who's reached out, thank you. It just means so much to know that that I have so many people that care, that are concerned, and I tweeted this, and I'll say it again because I think it still has meaning and relevance in any situation. If you're going through something, if you're feeling something, if something ain't right, speak up. Say something. No one knows. If you keep that to yourself, then no one around you knows how you feel. No one then knows what you're going through. No one then knows how to respond because you're keeping that to yourself. So if you're in a situation and you feel like your thoughts need to be vocalized and you can't, and you don't, and you feel like somewhat trapped, I guess, or in a state of near depression, speak up. Say it somehow. Either tell somebody directly or post to social media or what have you. Get it out there, and eventually someone will listen. And in my case, multiple people listened, and I cannot stress enough how so grateful I am for that so many people saw what I posted and immediately reached out to me. Like that just so put my mind at ease, that it was sorry, it's overwhelming. It really is to know that so many people think about you, and they can relate to what you're going through. They can understand that, and they can give you encouragement. So just thank you. I can't say that enough. Honestly, I'm a lot better than what I was. It's still tough, but I know it'll get better. I know. Excuse me. Always at the start of the year, there's always a little bit of struggle because I'm saving up money and putting aside money for Winnie City, and so the start of the year is always tough. Last year was January they kicked my butt. Well, this year it's February, so it's always a little bit of a struggle. But I didn't expect the double pay thing to happen. That was completely out of left field. But I'm just so grateful to everyone. So thank you again. Thank you for reaching out. It means so much that you can do that. So thank you. All right. So now that I get that out of the way, and I had to start with that because I just had to get that out there and let people know how I felt. So let's get to the topics at hand in this episode. We're going to talk about, of course, MLP and the upcoming Season 9. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about last Saturday when my friends and I, when Nate and Sarah and I went down to Bankers Life Fieldhouse and spent the day in Indianapolis for the Pacer game. Pacers are playing tonight, by the way, at 7 o'clock, so that's why I'm all decked out. And I got this guy I tweeted that I got this at the game actually. This of course is Boomer, the Pacer mascot, same jersey. I have my mascot jerseys, of course. You guys always know that. I made it a little more realistic. I even put the knot in the tail. So I had to make it a little more realistic. So we'll talk about that. And I will also talk about a new team I'm following as well. Talk about that a little bit. And also kind of what's on tap to come for the month of March. So just kind of give you a little planning ahead of what's to come for me, the channel, everything going forward. So let's talk about MLP FIM. Let's talk about the end is nay or nigh or however you want to say it. I mean, it's unfortunate, but by the same token, we kind of knew that it was coming. You know, we knew the rumors were out there. We kind of had a feeling that Season 9 would be the last hurrah for FIM, and Hasbro and DHX later did confirm that to the fandom. Season 9 will be the final season of FIM. But what a run it has been. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, it's better for the show to end on a high note than to kind of like wear out its welcome, like of any other shows have maybe done in the past. You know, heck, one of my other favorite shows growing up, Friends, that went 10 seasons, and I felt like they had a great run. So I think MLP's kind of in the same boat with Generation 4. So I think this has had an outstanding run, even though Season 8, as I mentioned, was not exactly great for me. It wasn't, again, one of the better seasons of the show. In fact, to me, it's probably the second worst. Because there were just more bad episodes that counteracted the good episodes, as I mentioned in the end of season review. But the big thing is, that it's going out like this, and there, of course, I have my wish list, and I mentioned the wish list, and maybe we'll see some of those things happen from that. But we also got a little bit of a tease of what's to come. They did release a trailer. Now, before I get into that, I just want to share my general, thoughts on this. Again, I came into it late. I came in to the fandom in the middle of season 3. So I was, again, kind of new to the game. I didn't jump in right away. But once I got hooked, I started watching the other seasons back, and then I got caught up. So for me, it has been a marvelous run. We have seen, from the main 6 character arcs to Spike's character arcs to then Starlight joining the group and her character arc. Other characters getting reformed, the Changelings getting reformed. Thorax and Ember and so many neat moments, characters. The 100th episode, Slice of Life, with the background characters. I mean, there have been so many outstanding moments in this show's run, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot more. And now even the Young Six, the Pillars, since season 7. So many cool arcs that we had at the end of each season. And I can only imagine what season 9 is going to bring us. But I will say it has been a phenomenal run. Is it sad that it's ending? Yes, but by the same token, we know it's not the end of MLP. Like, if it were the end of MLP, then I think it'd be a lot more disappointing. But we know that a new generation is around the corner. We know that a new movie is around the corner. Yes, they're working on another CGI movie, so we're going to get a second movie out of this. That's coming in 2021. Now, what we don't know about that is whether or not it's going to be Gen 4 related or Gen 5 related. That we still don't know. So let's see how that plays out as well. But for now, we have what we have, and season 9 is going to be premiering sometime next month. Probably mid-April. So actually, when Nate, Sarah, and I go to Winnie City in early April, season 9 won't even have started yet. So it'll probably be, you know, a week or so out. So because that's what seems to be the target is usually mid-April. So that's what they're targeting right now. So, you know, yeah, it's disappointing that it's ending. But again, it's better to go on a high. It's kind of like the other conventions, you know, that are ending. You don't want to end with a slow fade. You know, it's like BronyCon ending this year. Instead of going, you know, continuing to decline on a slow fade, end on a high note. That's what you want to do. And I'm glad that Hasbro is taking this approach and ending it on a high note where it should be. And they have promised us a lot of things in hype with this season. You know, returning characters, new characters, you know, plot twist galore, a great ending. I mean, they are really hyping this up, and the trailer certainly gave us a bit of that. Now, if you haven't seen the trailer yet, I will say there's a couple spoilers I'm going to mention here ahead. So if you don't want to hear it, this part, you know, mute your volume now, or, you know, what have you. If you have not seen the trailer, but if you haven't seen it, I suggest you check it out. I'm sure it's on YouTube. It's on Hasbro's YouTube channel. It's on Equestria Daily, so if you want to check that out as well. But so if you don't want to hear, okay, warning now. All right. What they've shown us, it leaves me really with two big questions. Number one, how in the buck is King Sombra back? That to me, when I saw him on the screen, I'm like, how? We saw him get destroyed to bits in the season 3 finale. Like, how is that even possible? Clearly, either he found a way to regenerate himself, or he has help from some pony or some creature else that was able to regenerate him and gave him a second chance. Like, there's got to be, it's got to be some of these villains. Either some villains are hooking up, or multiple villains are hooking up. Which really, for the end of the show, that honestly would not surprise me. Like all these villains are like teaming up now. Like Sombra, Chrysalis, T-Rex, Cozy Glow, all of them are having like this, like maybe Justice League, or I guess anti-Justice League, if you will, of villains just coming together and just trying to take over everything. Wouldn't that be something? That kind of is the vibe I get, because, you know, again, we saw Sombra get destroyed. How in the heck is he in the trailer? If he had to have gotten assistance from someone, some creatures, because you just don't have come back to life. No, there has to be some way that happens. So that was the first shocking thing out of me. Like, oh my gosh, how is that possible? And then the second question that I had is, who or what destroys the Tree of Harmony? Like, that's death. Like, that's a legit death, because we actually now have death. This is a dark trailer, and also Sombra in that trailer is kidnapping Flirty Heart, one of the most powerful alicorns in Equestria. So it's like, whoa, okay, that's a big deal. But then we see toward the end where some shard shoots out of the ground and pretty much blasts the Tree of Harmony to bits. So the elements are now all smashed to the ground. And we know the Tree of Harmony is sentient. So that's death. Like, that's a legit death. Like, holy crap. Like whoa. Like, okay, what is going on here? So yeah, I'm left with a lot of questions. And I don't know how that's going to. I'm sure it's going to affect Equestria in a huge way, especially with a former villain returning somehow, and then that happening somehow. So it leaves me with a lot of questions, and it's like good grief. What is it all like, what's it all going to lead to? I guess is the obvious question. So yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to think. I mean, it certainly is a intriguing lead-in to the season, but is that? But we've also seen with previous trailers, that it was much ado over nothing. Remember the mid-season finale with the Mean Six? We thought that Chris was finally going to get her destined revenge, and then that all went for naught. Now, I wouldn't think that they would hype that up if that was just a fade or a facade. I would hope not. But then again, with this show, you never know. So I don't know. It certainly means we're in for a very intriguing season. And if we're going to go out, hopefully we go out with a bang. So, yeah, of course, I'm excited to see what's to come. I'm excited to talk about episodes again. I'm excited to get back in it. So I can't wait for that. So very, very intriguing. Very excited what's to come. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. Can't read what it says you can unmute now. There you go. You can unmute now. Spoilers are over. Okay. So moving on from that, just going to talk briefly about Winnie City for a bit. Of course, we're pretty much a month out now from Winnie City. And we've got 5 guests of honor now announced, along with Kiara, Brenda, and Merrick. We've also got one of the comic writers, I think, forget her name off the top of my head. It's like Sarah something, but she's going to be there. And then Big Jim Miller is also going to be there. So we've got 5 GOHs. Great lineup of community guests. Several of my favorites are coming back, along with AC Race Best, Saber Sparks, Silver Quill. A lot of my favorites are coming back. So excited to see them again. Great lineup of musicians as well was just recently announced. Vocal scores coming back. Let's see, Seventh Element is coming back. The Shakeups are coming back. They got the Wonderbolts. So, of course, I'm excited about that. Yeah, just a lot of big names. And they're actually they're going to do 2 concerts this year. They always do the one on Saturday night, the big baseball. They're going to do that as always. But then they're also going to have one now Friday night after the Grand Galloping Gala as well. So that's going to be very cool as well. So very, very exciting. It just keeps getting better and better, and now we're a month out. So very much looking forward to it. Very, very exciting. And now we're all on the same level. We were able to up Nate and Sarah's sponsorships from Earth to Unicorns. Now we are all at the same sponsorship level this year. So very excited about that, and very much looking forward to that weekend as always. So very, very excited about that. All right, what else? Let's talk about last Saturday. Last Saturday, Nate, Sarah, and I, we had, precursor to that, my mom actually had gotten me, as a Christmas present, she had gotten me tickets to the Pacer game against Orlando on Saturday, well in advance. So, and they were lower level seats. So second time I've been in the lower level this year, in fact, because earlier this year in November, of course, I went to the Jazz game when I was 7 rows behind the basket, which the Pacers won that night. So we were hoping for a repeat of that performance and to keep my perfect streak alive, 8-0 coming into that game. But before that, we then kind of made a plan throughout the day to, do some stuff in Indianapolis. And, we made a day of it. We were planning to check out Disc Replay. That didn't happen. But we were able to check out the State Museum. down there. We'd never been before, and learned some really neat things. Just the cool thing is it's a really big building. It's like 42,000 square feet of space. It's a massive building, like over I forget the exact number, but like a lot of artifacts in there from Indiana's history. So you learn about the prehistoric age, Indiana's beginnings, and then you learn more about the modern times, for statehood and that kind of thing, and then eventually to the present day. So it just had so many cool things to see and to do and interact with. There's a couple interactive things you can do in there. It's very, very cool. Probably my neatest thing that I got to experience, they have with like the log cabin and the settlers, you actually you can mimic like splitting firewood. You could do that. You could do like the sawing in half. That was really cool. So all of it was neat. It was just a really neat experience. And just so many neat things to see. So I highly recommend it if you're a history buff, if you've been, you lived in Indiana all your life, and like myself, and you really enjoy you learning about the state's history or what have you. Definitely check it out. It's definitely a must see. It is a little pricey. It's $17 just to see everything, but I think it's well worth it. I think it's definitely, again, if you're into that kind of stuff, you're going to get your money's worth out of it. So highly, highly recommend that. And speaking of highly recommending, then we had a little bit of dinner before the game. We went to Lock Miller's Bar and Grill, which we read very good reviews about in Indianapolis. And oh my gosh, you guys, if you want a good, quiet, sit down place, before you go to the game or anything, what have you, these guys are really good. They're steeped in tradition. They've been around a long time, but the food is simply amazing. Legit, it is amazing. I read a lot of people's reviews that they really like the fish and chips, and I got that myself. And oh my gosh, you guys, best I have ever had in my life. And I've had some good fish and chips in my life, but theirs blew me away. It's even highlighted on their menu, so it's a recommendation. That they are well known for it. So I took advantage, and oh my gosh, y'all, it was absolutely incredible. So yeah, just absolutely amazing. If you need a place to go in Indy, for some good quality food and a nice atmosphere, highly recommend, absolutely. And get the fish and chips. The fish is massive. It's one big piece of white fish fried and breaded. It's amazing. The flavor is perfect. The fries are great. I mean, it's really, really, really good, guys. Just amazing. And so yeah, really good stuff. And Nate and Sarah had a great meal too. We even said, if we are going to more Pacer games, make it a tradition. And really, I would not be against that at all, honestly. The only drawback of the whole day was I had to park in multiple spots throughout the day, and the parking was the most pricey thing. I had to pay $5 to park at the State Museum. Then I had to pay like 20 some bucks to park outside of Lock Miller's, because really there's no parking outside. There's on a corner of a street, so the parking garage is right there, but it's really pricey. And then that night at Banker's Life, it was $6 to park for game night. So the parking adds up, but it's well worth it. It's worth it to get a good meal. So very, very impressed. And then we went to Banker's Life and went to the actual game, and we were in section 1, which is actually one of the more bigger notable sections. A lot goes on outside of section, the big pregame party, pretty much the pomp, the hype crews out there. They're dancing outside section 1. Everybody getting the power pack sometimes out there. They're getting everybody hyped. That's where we were. We were in the lower level. We were 13 rows behind the basket. But the cool thing was. The cool thing was, though, is that sometimes, on certain nights, Boomer will actually do like a little meet and greet before the game, which is really cool. And I didn't know that this was happening that night, but I saw the stand outside of Section 1, and I'm thinking, oh man, if I get to see him, because he is best mascot in the NBA. Period. End of statement. I don't care. Don't at me. It's my opinion, but Boomer basically started like my love of mascots, like legit. He was the first mascot I ever liked in the mid '90s when I was a Pacer fan growing up, and from there I started really liking them in general, and he was just the first one I ever liked. So he means, in terms of my passion for mascots, he means a lot to me. So I always get very nostalgic when I see him. And then I actually got a text from Sarah. Like, thank God she did this. She texted, hey, he's right outside there with the dancers. And I'm like, oh gosh. So I race up the stairs, and I get in line, and this was actually this is actually like the closest I've gotten, aside from being I was next to him in Logansport. When I met him in Logansport a couple years ago for the first time, he was actually like sitting at a table. But I was in my Pacer gear. But he wasn't. I think he was in military gear. It was a military appreciation night. But then at the Jazz game in November, he was in the tunnel. So I was like over the railing. He was down in the tunnel. So this actually is probably the best picture now that I have gotten with him. There we are. So right there at the stand. So it's just. He's the first. He's just so cool. I mean, I love everything. What is not to like? I love his stunts. I love when he comes down from the rafters to start his entrance to the games. I love when he goes up during the fourth quarter. I love the dunk show that he does in the third quarter. He's just so entertaining. He's entertaining. He's great with the fans. I can find no fault. So he's the one thing, about the game, whether the Pacers are winning or losing, it puts a smile on my face. And that was just, I considering, again, what I was going through, I really needed that. It took my mind off of what I was going through for a brief moment that day. So, now, unfortunately, the drawback was that the game started out really good, but it was a tight battle throughout. The Magic are no slouch. The Magic are they're right in the thick of the playoff race. They're 8th spot in the Eastern Conference. They were a half game out going into the game, but they've got a lot of young talent. They've got a 7-foot center in Nikola Vukovic, who's a really good player. Terrence Ross is a great 6th man off the bench. They've got Aaron Gordon, who can shoot well. Eric Fournier is a great player. They're a very young team, but they've also got some seasoned veterans as well. So they're just a very well-rounded basketball team that's getting better. A couple years ago, I knew they were one of the worst teams in the league, because they were so young. But eventually, they have gotten better as time has gone on, and now they're starting to play really, really well of late. So I was worried about that coming in. But again, I thought the Pacers could hold serve at home. They've been playing very well at home this year, and I thought they could, hold serve. And the first quarter was tight. It was tight all game long. It was tied at the end of the first. Then the Pacers went on a little bit of a run. They were up by 5 at the half, and then they were precariously holding on to a 4-point lead at the end of the third. I still felt confident, though, that they could get the job done. But then Orlando started really picking up the intensity. The defensive pressure was getting to the Pacers a bit. The officials were getting to them a bit with some calls that didn't go their way. And Orlando was just hitting shot after shot after shot. They were hitting a lot from 3-point range all night long. And the Pacers did make it interesting late. When it looked like Orlando was going to put the game away, the Pacers got 5 points in a span of like a few seconds. And they cut the deficit down to 2, 114 to 112. It was like 20-some seconds left. But then Orlando nailed the dagger. Fournier hit another 3, and that pretty much did it. The Magic ended up winning 117 to 112. So it broke my streak. It broke my perfect attendance streak. It was the first loss that I've ever seen in person, and that's tough. It's tough to take, but all good streaks have to come to an end at some point, just like MLP ending. All good things, come to an end at some point. And I had it was a run. I mean, again, it was a great run, of not seeing a loss, of going home, driving home, feeling good after a Pacer victory. And I don't know if that was just a byproduct of the fact that we went to games that had like really, rough opponents, or the Pacers having a good night, or what have you. But we were just really, really, or the fact that Bankers Life Fieldhouse is a great home court atmosphere, which I think it is. There's not a bad seat in the building, but maybe it was bound to happen. And Orlando was playing really well of late, and they were definitely a concern. I didn't think. The Pacers also have been, kind of struggling. We know Victor Oladipo's been out for the year after the knee injury, but they've also been without Domantas Sabonis with a sprained ankle, and he's not going to play tonight against Chicago either. So the Pacers have really had to, stretch guys thin for minutes. They're playing, Tyreek Evans a lot more, and Kylo Quinn has had to come off the bench for Dom's minutes, and that kind of thing. Corey Joseph's had more time, and that kind of thing. So I'm surprised they have not played Aaron Holiday more, honestly. Like he didn't even play against Orlando. I was surprised that Aaron Holiday didn't get any playing time against the Magic. I was certainly surprised because he played well. He played really well when Oladipo went down and he got his playing time. And so I thought maybe he would, step up. Now, TJ Leaves has been playing well of late too, getting more minutes, but I thought for sure Holiday would get more playing time, but maybe the fact that the Pacers got Wesley Matthews in the deal and he's been playing well too. Maybe that's why Holiday isn't getting the minutes. I don't know. But the bottom line is this. The Pacers have looked really good all year. They've been one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference for sure. They're trying to hold on to that number 3 spot. And Philly and Boston are right there, trying to surpass them. But we'll see where it shakes out. Clearly the Pacers need Sabonis back sooner rather than later. They just got Evans back. He was dealing with a bout of food poisoning. He missed like 2 or 3 games. He came back against Orlando and played really well. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But the bottom line is the Pacers have to keep holding serve at home. Their defense is a big question mark right now. They're giving up a ton of points last week to all 4 teams they play. They give up more than 100 points. So defense is a big sticking point. I'm sure Nate McMillan is preaching that hard to them about the defense. So they need to have a better performance. The Chicago team they're playing tonight is a lot worse than Orlando was on Saturday. So this game should be a win for the Pacers tonight. Granted, you can't take any team underestimate any team in the NBA. I mean, for gosh sakes, the Phoenix Suns, the worst team in the NBA, have beaten the Milwaukee Bucks, the best team in the NBA, twice. So any given night, anything can happen in the NBA. But the Pacers need to beat the teams that they're supposed to beat if they want to hold on to this spot in the Eastern Conference. They have to beat these lower tier teams. So they have to win this game tonight against Chicago to get back on track and to keep playing the good basketball that we know they're capable of. So I really see this tonight as I wouldn't really say like a must-win game, but at least a game that they kind of, I guess maybe, need to have, in a way, just the fact to get back on track. It doesn't have to be a blow necessarily. They can still keep it close, but as long as they win, that's really, is what's going to be huge. If they lose to Chicago, it's really time to start asking yourself some questions and maybe making some lineup changes or reinforce or something to get the spark going. Because I know you don't want to mess with a good thing too much, but when there's struggles there, then you gotta adjust somehow. Maybe the Tampa Bay Lightning should make a cue from that, because last week for them was terrible. They did nothing at the trade deadline. And then all they did was, they choked away a 2-0 home lead and lost to the Kings 4-2. They played the Rangers and barely got out with a 4-3 overtime victory. Then they got destroyed by Boston 4-1. and then finally had a great game on Saturday and beat Ottawa 5-1. That was the only good game all week last week, and they did nothing at the trade deadline. I'm just worried that might not come back to bite them in the butt. I'm just saying. So anyway, but I think the Pacers need this one tonight. They do. I think they really do. All right, next thing. New hockey team I'm following. A new one I just kind of picked up on. Following them a little bit out of the Southern Professional Hockey League. I'm keeping my eye on the Quad City Storm. They actually brand new franchise. Of course, the Quad City Mallards folded last year after their final year in the ECHL, where the Comets also play. But then they got hockey back in the Quad Cities, which is great. The Quad City fan base has always been very, very supportive of their hockey. And I'd love to get to Moline at some point to make a game. Maybe not this season. Heck, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to make it to Fort Wayne for a Comet game this year. Oh, the Comets have been struggling mightily this year, too. Speaking of struggles, last week, how about a 11-0 loss to Toledo Walleye? Ouch. But I'd love to get to the game at some point in Moline, even though it's almost a 5-hour drive. I would plan and prepare for that ahead of time. But again, I love the logo. I think it's really neat. It's basically like this little tornado cloud holding a hockey stick. I think it's really cool. I love the color scheme. It's like a gray, blue, and black. I like that. That's signifies strength. We're not going to take your crap. I like that. And I like that. And of course, me being the mascot guy, I love the team mascot. I love Radar is the mascot's name. It's a fox. And I've always liked foxes. Hell, Tails was my favorite Sonic the Hedgehog character. Yeah, Sonic is not my favorite character, believe it or not. Tails is actually my favorite character in the Sonic series. So I've always had a thing for foxes. Heck, why do you think I like Sycamore Sam from Indiana State so much? Because he's very similar to that. So I like and I don't know if you guys have seen it. Let me see if I can show you a picture. If you haven't seen what Radar looks like. Let's see if I can find something a little better. Maybe. Yeah, here we go. This is a really good picture. Okay, so there is Radar. There he is. He's the mascot for the Quad City Storm. So yeah, very cool. Again, positive, of course, full uniform. Love it. I love the authenticity of that. I love that. Just really opens up his friend, and he's already been great with the fans. Just very, very friendly looking, and I love that. So yeah, I'm definitely a fan, and I hope at some point to get up to Moline to catch a game again. Maybe not this year because we're already so late into the season, but maybe next year. I want to get to a Storm game at some point, and again, if I don't get to Fort Wayne to see a Comet game this year, definitely want to get there next year as always. Because I always will try to make. My goal is always try to make one Comet game and one Pacer game a year. I've been to 2 Pacer games this year and no Comet games. So, but again, with the full financial FUBAR, it was kind of difficult to do. So anyway, but I hope to at some point. So that's the new team I'm following. Very excited to see them. They have struggled this year. They've kind of had a rough year. It's a first year team, and first year teams usually, with the exception of the Vegas Golden Knights, are going to struggle. And I think they're like 14, 26-4 this year in the SPHL, which is tough. But they've gotten some wins of late. So they are playing better of late. They play pretty well at home, it looks like. So at the Tax Slayer Center. So very impressive, very, very cool. If you're in the Illinois area, if you're big into hockey, if you're living near the Quad City, check them out. They can use all the support they can get, and I'm really looking forward to maybe listening to some games or going to a game in the future. Really looking forward to seeing them in person as well. All right, finally, one more thing I want to talk about. Just kind of every time I know I have so much on my desk, but I have this Sharky bobblehead that I won in a contest, and every time I touch the desk, he loses his stick. I have to fix that every time. Okay, one more thing I want to talk about is basically just kind of like what's on tap ahead for the month of March. Obviously, for me, the big thing, of course, is March Madness. Of course, the NCAA tournament. You're 12 days out from Selection Sunday. Now, what does that mean for tracking the madness? Well, that basically means you're going to be seeing a lot more TTMs over the course of the next few days, starting with this Thursday. This Thursday, 5 o'clock Eastern time, there'll be a new Tracking the Madness, new bracket projection, new bubble breakdown. Who do I think is locked into the tournament for good? Who's still fighting for bubble spots? The bubble is ever changing. It's slowly shrinking. So there's a lot fewer teams that are in the mix now than there were. What are the chances some mid-majors sneak in, say like a Furman or a St. Mary's or, something like that, or a Lipscomb or Murray State? What are their chances? Or the bigger guys like your Temples, your Clemsons, your Alabamas, your Floridas, are they going to stay ahead of the mix in there and have their cases be stronger than that of the mid-majors? So we'll plan that out. We'll have a new projection. I'll share that on Thursday, and then we'll break down the bubble and the locks and all that on Thursday. New bracket, 5 o'clock Eastern time. Again, same time as this show. For Tracking the Madness, that's Thursday, 5 o'clock, this Thursday. And there will be more in the future as we get closer to Selection Sunday. Now, I will say this. Unfortunately, it's going to be another year where I will not be able to watch Selection Sunday live. I will have to DVR it. I am scheduled to work that Saturday night, a short shift from 6 to 10 p.m. So I will have to, unfortunately, record a selection show on DVR. But what I plan to do is once I get home, after 10 p.m., because I have the following Monday off. I have the 18th off. So what I plan to do is on the night of the 17th, after I come home, I'll immediately fire up a live stream, and I will watch the selection show live. No, not live, in fact, but as George Carlin would say, pre-recorded. But it will be a live stream of my reaction to the selection show, and how the bracket broke down, who's in the field, who got left out, and my reaction. And I'm sure there will be, as there has been every year, the one team that I feel like should have been in and didn't get in, or the team they left out. It's happened to me at least. I miss one or two teams every year, or a team got in that I felt like shouldn't be in. I'm sure there'll be that reaction, which will be priceless, depending or bad, depending on your perspective, or annoying. So that will be that Sunday night. And then the day after that, the Monday of the 18th, is going to be bracket fill-out day. Now, as you guys probably know, I play a lot of brackets on Tournament Challenge every year on ESPN. I usually play 8 brackets a year, but a lot of those are mainly based on statistics, or like BPI or the Ken Palm rating, or quality wins or what have you, or in one case actually it's based on the team mascot. But also last year, Nate filled out a bracket for the first time, and we played it on Tournament Challenge. And he told me he wants to do that again this year. So Nate and I are going to, on the 18th, are going to fill out our main gut feeling brackets for the tournament on the 18th. Time still to be determined, but we will do that on the day after to prepare, because the first 4, of course, will be on the 19th and the 20th, and then it dives right into the first round, second round, the weekend of the 21st to the 24th. So it's going to come up here really, really quick. So TTMs between Thursday the 5th and Selection Sunday, there'll be multiple. I'll always tweet about them. When I'm going to post another live stream, I'll let you guys know about it on Twitter always, as well. And then on the 17th, the night shortly after 10 o'clock, my stream reaction to the selection show, pre-recorded, and previously recorded, I should say. Not really pre-recorded. And then on the 18th, bracket fill-out day, gut feeling live right here on the channel. Nate and I filling out our gut feeling brackets for the NCAA tournament. So very exciting stuff coming up there. So, yeah, I got a lot with TTM in this month of March, obviously, with the NCAA tournament coming up. Also, one other thing that I really, 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 really want to do this month that I hope I can make happen is I want to get up to Whiting, Indiana, to check out the Mascot Hall of Fame. It is now open to non-VIPs. When they opened in December, from the email that I got, the first 3 months, December, January, February, that was kind of like the VIP period. That was, where they, where the VIPs could check it out, the facility first. But now that we're past that point, now we're in the month of March, now it's open to everybody. So now I really, really, really want to get up there and check it out. I mean, how amazing is that? Like, here I am in Indiana, a diehard Mascot fan, pretty much been nearly all my life, and they build the Mascot Hall of Fame in my home state. Like that just when I saw that, I'm like, they could have built it anywhere, but they built it in Whiting, Indiana. And I'm like, wow, I'm just like, oh, it's like that moment of, yes, perfect. So, the Mascot Hall of Fame is in my home state. So I really want to get up there and check it out. I'm hoping to at some point this month. I really want to make that happen. So that's really the big things, coming up this month. And the main thing is obviously going to be March Madness. Obviously, there's going to be more ATSD. Don't worry about that. There's going to be, another episode probably here in a couple of weeks. We'll have episode 30 here in a couple of weeks. But the main thing will be the tournament and TTM. It's going to be the main things for the month of March going forward. So that pretty much is going to wrap this up, guys. That's it for this episode. Again, just thank you guys so much again for your views, all you subscribers, your support. That means, again, that also means so much to me as well. That you guys tune in, you enjoy the content. If you enjoyed this, enjoy the topics, give the video a thumbs up. Like the video. Also, hit the notifications. Hit the bell for notifications to know when I go live. Because again, as you guys if you guys aren't aware now, I can't. Google got rid of Google Hangouts, and YouTube got rid of. You can share to Twitter now. Well, I can't do that anymore. So unless I post in Twitter that I'm going live, you guys don't know unless you hit the notification. So hit the bell to know when I go live. That way you guys know when it happens. And then even if you can't watch it live, again, you can always watch it back. So that accounts for the views as well. So so just again, thank you so much for all that support and in your support. It means, again, so much to me. And again, for all you who, again, the support and the encouragement over the past couple days, again, thank you so much for that as well. So this Thursday will be the next stream, Tracking the Madness, bracket number 5. It's 5 o'clock Eastern time on Thursday. And then from there, we're just going to keep pumping out more brackets, more leading up to Selection Sunday. I don't know if we'll have any more videos about the Alliance. I hope we do, but that'll also be up to Nate because Nate and I have been gung-ho on it. But hopefully more content with that as well. But for now, the main focus is going to be on Tracking the Madness and the NCAA tournament. So until Thursday, when we drop the next stream at 5 o'clock Eastern time, Tracking the Madness, I'm Spiky Dash. Thank you. God bless all of you, and have an outstanding rest of your night and week. And I will see you again on Thursday night for Tracking the Madness Bracket 5. Spiky Dash, signing off.